All right, here we are going to talk about making selections. In our last lesson, when we added some adjustment layers like such, we found out that this turns out to be a global edit, meaning it's going to edit the entire picture. Well, that doesn't help us when we're trying to change the color of something or edit just a specific part of our photo. So let's talk about how we can actually just select certain parts of our photo and then edit it from there, okay? There's two ways to do so. There's a manual way and there's an artificial intelligence way, which is new as of a couple years ago. Let's try artificial intelligence and then go from there. The idea here is that we are going to select just her shirt. So if you go over here to your tools, you're going to look for what's called the object selection tool. It's a white square with a white arrow pointing to it. Remember, if you don't see a specific tool that I'm talking about, go to the generic area, click and hold, and a bucket of tools shows up. Object selection tool is what we're looking for. I want to get her whole shirt, so I'm actually gonna start way over here off to the side at about chin level. Click and drag from here all the way down to the bottom of my photo and let go. Now AI is thinking, and you can see here that it accurately found the edges of her shirt. However, always look with a keen eye because artificial intelligence is not 100% accurate all the time. I'm gonna go to my zoom tool over here or press Z on my keyboard. And if I zoom in, you can see here that the little flippy whip of her collar did not get selected. So now I need to do the manual way. If you look over here at your tools, I am going to utilize what's called the lasso tool. It looks like one of those traditional cowboy lassos, or again, you can just press L on your keyboard. Again, we want the circular one, so don't do one of these, but just the regular lasso tool. Now, if I just go ahead and click on the screen, you can see that my previous selection actually disappeared, and we don't want that. We want to add to the selection. So simply hold Shift on your keyboard, and then you're going to click and drag along the very edge of the rest of that shirt. So I'm gonna carefully go across this way, meander down here to the neck, work my way up the side again. And the key is to go all the way back to where you started and simply let go. And you can see it added to the selection, okay? If you end up selecting too much, like let's say I went this way a little bit and got too much of the skin, simply hold your Option or Alt key on the PCs, and you can see this subtracts from the selection. So I'm going to trace along the edge here and then surround what I want to subtract. Good. Let's zoom out so that we can see our final result. From here, remember Photoshop will now only edit what you have selected, which is great. So over here in the layers panel, again, go down to your adjustment layers and add hue and saturation. So now if we go to the hue slider, we can see that it should now only apply to the sweater. And look at that, absolutely beautiful. Now what color should we change it to? Well, if I was doing this professionally, I would look at what's around. We can see that the background is primarily orange and yellowish. So its complementary color would be blue. Or its analogous color would be like a reddish orange, like that, right? So I've got red here, orange here, and yellow back here. So I would pick one of those two colors, however you do you for this quick assignment. I'm gonna go back to blue. Okay, let's go ahead and do a similar technique for her eyes. It looks great when the eyes match the clothes. Zoom in really tight, all right? Don't be doing it from way back here. It's really hard to find the exact edges. So zoom in to where you can see just the two eyes. Go back to your lasso tool and simply drag around the edge just the iris, right? We don't need to worry about the whites of the eyes because white stays white. Hold shift and select the other eye as well. Okay, I missed a little bit down here. Okay, and same as before, except I tested it with this image and her eyes are actually more on the gray side, so there's not much color to change. So let's try something else. I'm going to go to my adjustment layer icon and add a solid color. Okay, now stay with me here. I know it looks a little creepy, but let's go ahead and select about the same color as the shirt. All right, I know it was bluish. You can, however, scroll down until you see it and notice your cursor changes to like this eyedropper. So if you click on a specific part, it'll actually pick the exact color. See that? And there it is right there. I'm gonna click OK. And just like in the last lesson, we learned about blend modes. Let's change the blend mode of this solid color, which are right here, this drop-down menu. If you scroll all the way down, there's actually one specific for this technique and is called color. Go and select that. And we can see here, we have a nice vibrant result. However, if we zoom out, we can see that that looks pretty unnatural, right? We just want natural, not supernatural. So go back to your layers panel and reduce the opacity. Bring this down ever so slightly till it looks natural. I think somewhere between 20 and 30% looks good. Yes, that looks beautiful. Okay, so you can see with just 2 layers, we were able to go from this to this, and there you have it. What I would get in the habit of doing is renaming your layers, especially as we come to our next project. You're gonna have tons of layers and it's gonna get confusing as to which is which. So if I remember correctly, this one was for the shirt. So simply double click the name and then you can start typing. So this was the shirt color change. And this top one was the eye color change. Just simply press enter or return when you are done. And there you have it.